Everybody,
Yeah. All right. So Leo, do you have anything you want to say first? Sorry.
who me? No, I don't. Not. I'll probably save all my thanks for the end. So no, I'm good. I'm ready to roll.
All right. So Leo will be first.
Hey, Brandon.
Leo, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks. Uh, you certainly got two nice players and addressed two spots. It could have easily been flipped, running back first, edge rusher next, but just maybe talk us through the strategy and how it fell to you. It looks like you played it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean it fell. We honestly we had some guys that were going to be in the mix as it was falling to us, and we liked how the board was. We truly set it up to. I mean, there were guys on both sides of the ball, with 10 picks left that were in the mix, including Epinesa, and so we never tried to trade up in the second round. We liked who was on the board, and we had good grades. And obviously Epinesa, you've seen his production. I without asking the question, I don't know exactly why he fell. I assume he fell his 40 time. Some people knocked him a little bit on that, but you know how I care about that stuff. I'm looking for football players, and he's a damn good football player.
Hey, Brandon, it's Thad. How you doing?
Good, Thad.
Were you surprised at how well it fell? I mean, I was going to ask if you had any desire to trade up. Clearly, you did not. But were you, maybe a little, I don't know, surprised that really both these picks kind of almost fell into your lap a bit?
Yeah, the second one was much more stressful. To be honest with you, we had Moss in a pretty good spot up there, and once those other backs, they were starting to be a little mini run on backs. I was worried about him, and fortunately, we actually were making some calls. He's a guy that I felt fit a need, but we had a little higher than where we got him, and so I'm not saying it was we had him in the first round or anything like that. I'm just saying he was sticking out on the board. And as I've tried to explain to you guys before, if I got a guy that's sticking out on the board with a need, I'm going to try to go get him. So it wasn't going to be anything crazy. But we were talking to teams, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 7 ahead of us, for a late Saturday pick. But teams just kept picking, and there was a lot of talk about people wanting to get out of their picks, and then we got there and nobody wanted to get out of their picks. So it felt good. Patience paid off, even though my patience was struggling.
Thanks, Brandon.
You got it.
Hey, Brandon, Sal Capaccio here.
Hey, Sal.
Hey, how are you? You talk about best player available. I know that's what you preach, but you also got guys who will fill a need. Can you talk about it from that aspect, basically, how Epinesa can help fill your team and how Moss can help fill your team as needs, actually?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know how I am. You saw how we attacked free agency with the D-line. We'll draft 3 more tomorrow if we think they fit. I mean, we truly believe in that, and you don't pass up pass rushers. The thing about Epinesa that I really liked is his versatility. He's got production from the inside as a 3-tech, and then from the outside. So I see him lining up as a left defensive base end, and then reducing down as a sub rusher at times. So the versatility is what I like. He's got a couple years of double-digit sack production. I think the Holiday Bowl, he either had 2 or 2.5 sacks. You guys can check my stats. He was the MVP, I know. He's just a good football player. He's not going to win, the sexy appeal. I get that, but we're Buffalo, and nobody thinks there's anything sexy about Buffalo. So he's going to fit us well. He's a good old Iowa boy.
Hi, Brandon, Vic Carucci. So 2 things. First, Epinesa, and I don't want to leave out Moss on this either. The importance of character to this team and what you're doing, culture in terms of building your culture and so forth. How much did the reputation that they have, and I know a little more about Epinesa, and he talked about it with his dad, as a walk-on and ingraining that, he called it the walk-on mentality, nothing's given to you. How much did that factor into also your desire to get him? And then the second thing I wanted to ask is just how smoothly this very different draft has gone so far from the technical aspect.
Yeah, first question is, both of these guys we feel are high character guys, and that's very important to us, and that's why they were on the board. There are quite a few guys who have gone off in these first 3 rounds that would have been on our boards as talented players, but we didn't feel they were the right fit. So that does weigh with us, Vic. And secondly, overall, I think it's gone pretty well. Last night we got a little bit of a dry run to kind of see how it was going and how all the league stuff would work out, how we, do transactions and things like that. And without us doing a transaction, it seemed like it went well across the league. I didn't really hear anything, but today it's gone fine. I've had my various, Zooms and different video conferences going, and everything with the league, our communication has gone well. Like I said, we were set up as I was making some of those calls before Zach Moss got picked. If we had moved up a little bit, we were rolling with, I mute all the other Zooms, and I have that small Zoom that I was telling you about yesterday, Vic, with Jim Overdorf, Dan Morgan, Kevin Meegang, and Joe Shane, just all communicating so that I can hear what's going on with various teams that they're talking to or that I'm talking to.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, Brandon, Chris Brown here. Good job tonight. Just the thing I wanted to focus on was it looks like these 2 players are kind of cut from the same cloth, physical power type players. I'm just wondering, was that just by happenstance, or was there a concerted effort to put a value this year on, strong, powerful, physical type players to add to your roster?
I think it's a little bit of both, Chris. I mean, we set the board up. There were some guys that are a little more finesse, but big time speed players. Epanesa's got great measurables, length and all these things, which I do find important. It's not the end all be all. Obviously we selected Ed Oliver last year, who didn't have those prototype measurables, but Epinesa does. And, Zach is I think he's a very good complement to Devin. And Devin's got that shiftiness. Zach's going to be more of that, banging in there. I'm not going to try, not that he can't dodge, but he's going to lower that shoulder and try to, a little bit how, Frank did at an older age, Gore for us. I see that role. But Zach can catch the ball. And so it won't be that he can't sit in there and pass pro. He's a smart guy. He's a pro. And we're looking forward to getting him in here and pairing him up with Devin.
Thanks.
Hey, Brandon, it's Heather here. Just wanted to talk about, looking ahead to tomorrow and what you might be focusing on. Is the mentality still looking at best player available, or are there going to be specific positions that you want to target, or is it really just a waiting game, kind of like tonight, where the guys that, the positions that you wanted to fill, those guys that you liked fell to you when you were drafting?
Yeah, good question, Heather. We won't reach out of the round. If I've got a guy in the mid 4 and a guy at the bottom of 4, I might lean to need, especially if it's one that I think this guy is going to have a bigger impact immediately. Now that we're moving in the later rounds, I think we talked about it earlier. These first couple picks, I was truly just going to sit there and best player. That's what we were going to take. The running back was probably the bigger need of the 2, if you want to compare that. But with that said, there were other guys that came off too that would have been in the mix. So it was a really easy decision for Zach where he was sitting on the board. But tomorrow, hopefully it's the best player available. But if it's close and there's a need, we may aim to the need.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing, bud?
How you doing?
Good, good. Hey, the Epinesa pick, it would seem like you've got 3 veteran guys at edge rusher, all going to be in their 30s at the end of the year. Was that pick, obviously he's going to contribute this year, but was that a pick where you're really thinking about the future because you've got those three guys that have, turned the corner on 30?
Yeah, definitely. You're always looking to what's next and adding in there, but it wasn't a concerted effort. I mean, there were, like I said, Sal, there were guys there that were going to be in the mix, on both sides of the ball. So it wasn't like I was going, man, we got to not come out of tonight without a pass rusher or defensive end. It could have easily gone 2 offense or 2 defense. And so it was truly tonight going to be just strictly best available. And you can never go wrong, as I said, to start this thing out in my book, the way I believe building it, in being strong up front with a guy who can rush. And again, I love Epenesa's versatility as an inside-outside player.
If I just squeeze one in quick, the run on wide receivers, did that pretty much, even if you were considering one at 54, did that huge run pretty much take it out of the mix for you?
Yeah, there was a run, and we had some guys that would have been in the mix there, Sal, but they went. And so we weren't going to dip down. There were guys that we had in the 3rd round that we could have, taken with Epinesa, but we're going best player available. And so that's the way it was. Yeah, there was I thought there may be some that we liked at 54. I would have lost a bet today. I would have thought there would have been a wide receiver that we would have still had a 2nd round grade on, but there wasn't.
Hey, Brandon, hope you're doing well. We've seen a couple different, quotes from front office people and different answers these last couple weeks about how strong this draft is in general. Do you agree with that sentiment? And, I saw one quote that stood out in particular, that there would be 20 or 25 players taken in the 2nd round this year that a lot of front offices would have 1st round grades on. Without giving too much away, how deep was this draft?
I think it was deep, but I don't think it was as 1st round deep. I think it was deeper in 2 and 3 than it was 1, in my opinion. We had more 2nd round grades and 3rd round grades than we did 1st round grades. But it's to each his own. So some people may have had it flipped a little bit, but we did feel it was a deep draft. I tell you, some years there's more wild card picks. There hasn't, to this point, been as many wild card picks, which that part's been a little bit annoying because I like when guys come from different areas and they're not coming out of the same rounds that we're picking out of. But it was getting very dicey. Our 3rd round was pretty picked over. Unfortunately, some of the teams that were right in front of us had already picked running backs. So once it got close, I was just trying to, stay in there. If they were willing to trade it, I would trade just to keep someone else who didn't have a running back to trade, but they all made their picks. And I felt pretty confident those last few wouldn't take a back. I was just a little uneasy that someone may try and trade in and take Zach. And that would have been, I'd be in a different mood right now if that had happened.
Thanks.
Hey, Brandon, Mike Catalana in Rochester. You said, well, first of all, we're not used to you not making a move. And then you said other teams weren't giving up their spot. Do you think that had anything to do with the setup tonight, maybe specifically for you or everybody else? Or do you think it just happened to be the way this draft went, especially in that 2nd round?
I think as far as functionality, no. I think everybody's got it down. It's not that hard to make a trade. Maybe the separation, Mike, of I got to get on the phone with this guy, get on, you got this Zoom going, you're talking to your owner, explaining what you may give up and what it would cost us, tomorrow or later today. I do think that could slow it down. I don't think it's bothered us, but I could see there were a couple of teams that we were talking to that were interested in what we were willing to give. I don't think they felt we were shortchanging them, but they kept running the clock down. And I know one of them, I got on the phone and Joe had been talking to him, and I called the GM with about 2:15 to go on the clock. And I'm like, I'm not going to give his name, but I'm like, hey, are we doing this or not? Like, I don't want to run out of time, because when the clock's out, if the trade goes, somebody could jump me, which would be bad move on my part. So I was getting a little antsy. I think just all of that stuff, especially when it got down to 5 minutes, maybe that was a little bit of our problem, Mike.
All right, thanks.
No problem.
Hey, Brandon, Marcel here. How you doing?
Good, Marcel. You?
Good, good. Kind of going off Carolina's question here. Without that pick in the first round, are you almost kind of gracious for that, the time that you got to get used to this new setup and see how this entire thing was going to run from home?
Yes and no. Yesterday was rough. I was dying watching some of these guys come off the board. You do the work in the fall and you see them, and when you're at these schools or at these games and you're going, man, that guy's going in the first round, he could help us. It was tough. There were some players we really liked, but as I told you guys a while back, I was just going to have to think of Stefan, and our social media people put some stuff together. That helped me sleep a little bit better, but it was not easy. Functionality wise, though, it was a good test run for us all. We had done it once last Friday and then once with the league on Monday, so I felt good about it, but it was another run through.